Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls is one of Rome's 4 major papal basilicas and a significant pilgrimage site. It stands on the site where, according to tradition, St. Paul the Apostle was buried after his martyrdom. This basilica, with its rich history and grand architecture, is both a spiritual center and an architectural marvel. Here's a comprehensive look at its history, architecture, artworks, and significance. 1. Historical background. Origin and foundation. 4th century. The original basilica was commissioned by Emperor Constantine I in the early 4th century. It was constructed over the burial site of St. Paul, one of the apostles and a major figure in the early Christian church. 390 AD. Under Emperor Theodosius I, a much larger basilica replaced Constantine's original. This new basilica became one of the largest churches in the world at the time and continued as an important Christian site. The fire of 1823. The basilica suffered a devastating fire on July 15, 1823, which destroyed much of the building, including the original structure and many artworks. Following the fire, a massive reconstruction project began under Pope Leo XII. The basilica was restored as closely as possible to its original design, with assistance from Catholic nations around the world, which contributed funds and materials for the reconstruction. Reconstruction and modern additions. The reconstruction preserved the basilica's early Christian design, with elements of 19th century updates. The project was completed and consecrated in 1854 by Pope Pius IX. 2. Architectural features. The Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls is characterized by its grand layout and classic Christian basilica structure. It combines early Christian architecture with elements of neoclassical design, particularly from the 19th century reconstruction. Narthex and facade. The narthex in front of the basilica features a large open courtyard lined with columns. At the center of the courtyard stands a statue of St. Paul holding a sword, a symbol of his martyrdom and mission. The facade, designed by Luigi Poletti during the 19th century reconstruction, is adorned with mosaics depicting Christ, St. Peter, St. Paul, and the 4 evangelists. Interior structure. The basilica is divided into 5 naves separated by rows of 80 monolithic columns. The central nave is grand and has a coffered ceiling with gold ornamentation. The apse features a stunning 13th century mosaic depicting Christ in glory, flanked by St. Peter, St. Paul, and other saints. The ciborium over the high altar, designed by Arnolfo di Cambio in the 13th century, is one of the oldest structures in the basilica. It was preserved from the original basilica and is decorated with delicate Gothic designs. Mosaics and artworks. The basilica houses several mosaics, particularly on the triumphal arch and apse, dating back to various periods. The apse mosaic from the 13th century features a majestic representation of Christ in majesty. The triumphal arch has mosaics of Christ, St. Peter, and St. Paul, with symbols of the 4 evangelists. The cloister. The cloister of St. Paul, built by the Basilica family in the 13th century, is a masterpiece of medieval art. The cloister is notable for its twisting columns and intricate designs and serves as a peaceful area for reflection. 3. Relics and Tomb of St. Paul. Tomb of St. Paul. Beneath the main altar lies the Tomb of St. Paul, which has been venerated by pilgrims for centuries. Tradition holds that this is the final resting place of the apostle, marked by a stone with the inscription, Paulo Apostolo Mart. In 2006, archaeologists confirmed that the sarcophagus below the altar indeed dates to the 4th century, further supporting the site's authenticity as Paul's burial place. Chains of St. Paul. The basilica also houses what is believed to be a set of chains used during Paul's imprisonment in Rome. These chains are kept as relics and serve as a reminder of Paul's dedication and suffering for his faith.
Popes and portrait medallions. The papal medallions, Around the walls of the nave, medallions display portraits of every pope from Saint Peter to the current pope. This series is updated each time a new pope is elected and serves as a visual timeline of the papal lineage. According to tradition, when all spaces are filled, the world will face significant trials, adding an element of legend to the basilica.
The Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls is considered a minor papal basilica and one of the 4 major basilicas of Rome. It holds a prominent place in the Christian tradition, particularly for followers who revere St. Paul's teachings and contributions to the New Testament. As part of the 7 pilgrim churches of Rome, it is a traditional site for Catholic pilgrims.
Ecumenical role. The basilica has also become a center for ecumenical relations, reflecting Paul's role as the apostle to the Gentiles. Annual prayers for Christian unity are often held here, emphasizing the universal nature of Paul's teachings. Visiting the basilica today. The basilica is located on Via Austines, about 2 kilometers outside the historical Aurelian walls of Rome, hence the name, outside the walls. The Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls is more than just an architectural marvel. It is a testimony to early Christian faith, an important pilgrimage site, and a monument to the enduring legacy of St. Paul. From its founding by Emperor Constantine to its reconstruction after the devastating fire of 1823, the basilica embodies resilience and spiritual reverence. With its stunning mosaics, cloister, and relics, the basilica continues to attract millions of visitors, all drawn by the historical, religious, and artistic significance of one of Rome's greatest churches.